Hey, what's going on out there? You know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia giving you another segment of Get Things Done. This particular segment, I want you guys to divert your attention to the whiteboard as we're going to be discussing tips for networking, specifically for creating partnerships and potential investors to kind of put yourself in the best position so that you can kind of expand your business or expand marketing or promoting your artistry through the confines of creating these partnerships and then procuring some investors so that they can give you some investment opportunities so that you can put it toward working capital for whatever projects that you're trying to work on. So let's check it out. Let's start with number 1, where it states, meet in person, make yourself available, and I got it squeezed right in here in the end. Do not rely on social media. You can't underestimate the fact of just being in person if you're trying to develop your network. Yes, social media is a great tool to utilize in order to put yourself out there and have people get familiarized with what you're doing with your business or with your artistry. But there's nothing like actually meeting in person with people to really get to the gist and in depth and discuss with them exactly what your needs are and how to go ahead and, like I said, develop these partnerships. For example, yours truly has been given an invite. As you can see here, got my ticket for the White Label Business Expo. And this is a great platform that I'm glad I'm going to be a part of. It's going to be a bunch of different entrepreneurs, different representatives from different corporations and companies. And it's just going to be a great networking event. There's going to be investors there as well. They're always looking for the next big thing to go ahead and put an investment to and work toward. Again, it's just another great platform too to just discuss with different people, just get insight on how they went about developing their business and how they got to the point to where they is now from where they came from. So it could be a little overwhelming if you have to put yourself out there. It's not the easiest thing to kind of network and talk to different people, but trust me, relying on social media is definitely not the key. Social media should be a complement to the way you market and promote yourself. There's no better feeling than to actually be in person and talk to different individuals and then from there build a connection so that you can create these partnerships. Check out number 2. Understand your competitors and do the research. So for you to be prepared to talk to different individuals to creating these partnerships and investors, you need to understand your competition involving exactly what your business does, what services and products that it provides, or if you're some form of a content creator or artist, understand within your vicinity who you're going against. This will give them, when you're discussing to potential partners and investors, it gives them a basis or outline to really get an understanding of exactly what your needs are. It's not to say when it comes to your competitors that you're trying to be like them. Of course, you're going to etch out your own identity regarding your business and your artistry. But understanding what they do will better give you more insight to knowing what you need to go to kind of separate yourself from the pack, so to speak. Separate from your competitors so that you will be a little bit more authentic and a little bit more like you stand out a little bit more compared to them. And then in turn, by talking to different partners and investors, they're going to get that understanding that they need so that they can help. Let's check out number 3. Have awareness of exact specifics regarding what resources your network needs. And I also will put including for yourself. What does this mean though? This means when you're talking to potential partners and investors, partnerships means you're working in cohesion with them. So it can't be all about what you need. You need to take in consideration that who you're talking to, what they need as well. There might be certain resources or certain elements that are lacking within their business that you could provide. So that's how you can create the partnerships, is understanding the needs. So understanding from number 2, understanding your competitors as well. You need to have that same awareness as far as who you talk to with your investors and potential partners, understanding what they need as well, so that you have a common ground is basically being created, so that both sides are pretty much on the same page. A great way of doing that, I mentioned this before on a previous video, but you have what is called an executive summary. So this is a great tool to create, and it just gives you a really basic outline of what describing your business, your management protocols, give a little bit of a background to how your business was created, and then you give a brief overview of, again, what kind of competition you're going against. And then besides with the contact information, you also have some details there on specifics that you're looking for. Again, this is a great tool to use when you're talking to investors and partners. Again, it gives them quick insight on what you need. In turn, they can look over what their needs are and see, once again, how everything can come together. So remember that for you guys. Definitely, if you haven't generated one, do so now. Create an executive summary. Just a great quick tool, visual, something they can read and look over. Number 4, know your identity, know your purpose. So what does that mean? You have to be honest with yourself as far as exactly what your needs are and what you're trying to accomplish. Short-term goals and long-term goals. If you don't have the insight or a clear, if you don't have a clear plan, how is potential investors and partners going to be inclined to work with you if you don't see for yourself what you actually need or what you actually lack, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are when it comes to your business, when it comes to your artistry? They're not mind readers. You know what I mean? So going into a situation like this, when you're trying to make these connections, you never want to just state yourself or present yourself as if they know what you're going through. Like you're just trying to generalize everything. When it comes to business, it's all about specifics. But even greater than that, it's all about honesty. Being true for yourself and being specific on your purpose and for your needs. For example, one thing that Olympian Multimedia, a big thing that we're doing now, being that we're a small business, is we are trying to get in touch with different investors. So I have multitude of different means with investment firms, angel investors, primarily not just to invest in the business as a whole, but specifically for example, we have a software development proposal for a software concept that we're developing. We're also developing an invention idea as well. But this is, again, very important for you to develop as you're trying to reach out to these different partners and potential investors. As you notice here, you start off with a small letter outlining very quickly what exactly or what you're looking for and what you want them to understand regarding this proposal. And from there, you have like an executive summary, which is just added on to what I just discussed a couple minutes ago. And then you go into your concept, in which you need to be very detailed and very specific on what its purpose is, the different types of risks, what kind of components or going to be involved. And then this is probably the most key, is you need a timeline, a milestone of development where you actually break down in specifics over a certain time period of what you exactly have accomplished, what your goals were, what your objectives were. Did you happen to meet them? Are you in the process of meeting them? So forth and so on. This is very vital for you to put in your proposal. So again, this is definitely recommended when you're talking to investors and potential partners, is to develop a proposal and to be very specific on your exact needs and the overall scope of your project. Next up, develop good data management practices. That pretty much goes without saying. You need information. That's the biggest key, right? Besides being honest with yourself and being truthful with who you're talking to, you need to have some real in-depth information and data that you need to share in order for you to build these connections. If you don't really have much to go on, and again, you're just kind of generalizing everything, and then you're just basing it off just statistics that you get off of Google, you're not going to get very far in your conversation when you're talking to partners, potential partners, and investors. Again, it's all about the specifics. Data, goals, objectives. Did you meet them? What was your revenue stream versus costs versus operational expenses? Over 6 months, a year, 18 months, within 3 years. What are your projections are for 12 months to 18 months to 3 years from now? What are you looking from there? These are all types of data that people are looking for investors and for potential partners. This is what they're looking for, this type of information, so they can better evaluate if this is a good fit for them to work with you. So definitely develop these good practices of knowing how you can access this information quickly. It's not expected for you to memorize everything, but you need to have it accessible so that you can get to it quickly and give them the information that they need. Number 6, build your client base. Again, a big component when you're talking to potential investors is, where is your clientele at? You may not have just a huge clientele sheet and a whole bunch of different clients and customers, but you need to show to them that you will at least have a decent client base to show potential over time. That the products and services that you're providing, that little by little over time, you can start seeing the peaks, you can start seeing the rise, and that projections are starting to be made. You know, at the end of the day, projections are just estimates. You know, so none of us can predict the future on how successful a product or your service is going to be in your business, or whatever your art form is, your artistry, your content that you're creating. You don't know over time if it's really going to take off and people are going to resonate toward that and look towards your artistry, look towards your business. But you definitely want to get close to your projections. That's why it goes back to just knowing your identity, knowing your purpose, being honest with yourself. And last but not least, number 7, be willing to transition to change. Avoid being complacent. That's a big thing that causes a lot of businesses to falter, is that they feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's been working okay for me this time. I don't want to lose what clients or customers I have because they like what I got going on now. That's a horrible way of thinking, because you're harboring your business and holding your business hostage. You're holding it back just for the sake of the few clients or customers that you have, when you can be so much bigger, so much more. So you can't think big if you're not willing to aim big. So you can't look at your structure of your business or your artistry and feel like, I can't make it to this next level, if you're not pushing your goals in that way, to thinking big. If you think small, then your return is going to be small, right? So you got to be willing to take gambles, take chances. Some of them are not going to work out, and it's okay. But the fact is, avoid being complacent. Don't just stay in this rut and thinking that, you know what, it's okay. 3, 4 months, 6 months from now, we're going to turn a corner. Maybe not. Maybe you would. But is it worth that much of a gamble? Because 6 months from now, you can be in a more desperate situation than which you was before. So why not be willing to change and at least expand your horizon a little bit to the possibility of doing something different with your business or with your artistry. So that's about it, guys. I hope this was helpful for anybody out there, small business owners, people who are looking to develop on their startup, those who are, again, content creators, those who are so involved with their artistry and they're trying to put themselves out, and you're trying to create these partnerships and trying to get a hold of these potential investors. I hope these tips help you out. I know it's helped me out. I've utilized these, and just know it's always a work in progress, but keep going. All right. So I hope you guys liked it. You know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympia Multimedia. And I guess the only thing left to say is get things done. Check y'all later.